Do not operate on an AVM if you cannot follow these 5 rules. Rule number 1, always wide exposure. Your craniotomy has to be big enough, because most of the time it is possible that the entire nidus is much larger than what you assume looking at the scan. So to make sure that all the feeding arteries have been blocked, it is always useful to have a wider exposure. Rule number 2, isolate and occlude all the feeding arteries before occluding the draining veins. Now this is very important because in the AVM, arteries and veins look almost the same because of the high pressure flow of oxygenated blood through them. And in case if the AVM is having a single draining vein and you block it before occluding the feeding arteries, the bleeding is going to be just uncontrollable. Always catch a snake from its neck, not from its mouth. Rule number 3, always make sure that the entire nidus is excised and not just the feeding arteries are occluded. Incomplete removal of the nidus is the most common cause of mislabeling the bleeding as NPPB. Do not blindly occlude all the arteries which are around the AVM, because there may be some N% arteries which are just innocuously passing by and not contributing to the AVM. So make sure that you excise only the nidus and do not disturb the N% arteries. Rule number 5, if there are flow related aneurysms and if they are very close to the nidus that is arising from the feeding arteries, and if you can access them, always make sure that you clip them.